time ago. But it's about getting back to work. And I know everybody's anxious to get back to work, so I thought this might be appropriate to open the show. It's called Watch Me Work. Yeah. Way back in '69, I had an easy time playing on guitar and living in my car. Looked like Jesus, but now it's different. I'm not so innocent. Got the time clock ticking. Better start picking up the pieces. Well, baby, don't give up on me yet, 'cause I got a lot of heart. I'm gonna give a lot of sweat. So just watch me work. I'll be taking care of you, baby. I said watch me work. Fulfilling all your fantasies. So just give me time. The bottom line is I'll show you what it's got to be love. Yeah, watch me work. I guess it's not a sin. It's the way it's always been. Gotta bring home the bacon. The giving and the taking should be easy. Get some common sense, like the establishment. Get the gold card pension, and don't forget to mention the new baby. So then I'll become the very thing that I thought. 'Cause it's hip to be rich. Get the things that you want. So just watch me work. I'll be taking care of you, baby. Yeah. I said watch me work. Fulfilling all your fantasies. I said watch me work. I'll be taking care of you, baby. So just watch me work every day. Watch me work. Watch me work. I said watch me work. Oh, then I'll become the very thing that I want. 'Cause it's hip to be rich. Get the thing that you want. So baby, please believe you ain't seen nothing yet. 'Cause I got a lot of heart. I'm gonna give a lot of sweat. So just watch me work. I've been taking care of you, baby. I said watch me work. I've been taking all your fantasies. Yes, so just watch me work. I'm gonna get you everything. I said watch me work. I'll show you all the good times. Yeah, I said watch me work.
Nice. That is so great, you guys.
Thank you.
Kenny Lee Lewis. What's going on?
I wrote good. I'm glad, man. I'm glad you had us on. Diane's here to help me, and we're happy to be here enjoying the refined distillery as well, and whatever naughtiness we're going to be getting into with these cocktails.
I already started. Sorry, I'm a tailgater.
I can't do that. We haven't even had one yet.
I tell you what, Diane, you're killing it on the percussion. That's a great song. Talk about that a little bit, Kenny.
Well, I wrote it, when I was making that transition from being a bohemian hippie musician. That's why I said I looked like Jesus, living in my car. And we were just getting ready to have our first child, and we had bought a house.
He wasn't living in his car then.
And we had a mortgage, and I was, getting credit cards and mutual funds and, life insurance. I mean, all that stuff, you don't even think about when you're a bohemian musician. So I guess I was moving from being from the left going to more of a centrist Democrat. in that time of my life. And it was, right after Reaganomics and all that, in the late 80s, whatever. But it was just a place where I was I was confessing in a confessional booth about how I was going to be a part of the system now. So that was where the song came from.
This is really a nice interview. Keep talking.
But it was a love song to Diane to let her know that she didn't have to worry about me being a deadbeat musician, and I was
that you were going to get to work.
Yeah,
Right.
Since we're all trying to get back to work,
taking yourself serious.
Yes, and since we're all trying to get back to work right now, coming off this lockdown we've been on, I thought it might be appropriate. So there you go.
Well, welcome into the 501 Happy Hour Hang.
5 o'clock on a Friday, that's the perfect song.
Hey, is it?
We got Evan Bishop today from Refined Distillery.
Everybody?
He's our coctologist, mixologist. I don't know what you call yourself, Evan, but we're so happy that you're going to walk us through making these drinks. And we're going to start with a gin and tonic, which is a good one to start with or maybe it should be the one we end with because it's the easiest to make.
And this
Yeah,
is
it is.
this is the glass.
It's a perfect.
Yeah, we got some tumblers. We got some ice.
We want to be correct with this now. Okay.
Okay, go ahead, Evan.
Yeah, so gin and tonic's kind of a classic summertime cocktail. Here in the distillery, we get folks that still just really aren't huge fans of gin, maybe because they had snuck a sip from their parents' cheap gin when they were kids. But there's a lot of different kinds of gins, and having the gin and tonic, it's a lighter alcohol drink, and so it's really just refreshing on those hot summer days. So I'm going to mix it up here. If anybody hasn't, Jeremy, I know you already have yours rocking, right? Awesome.
Right there.
So I'm going to have another here. First thing you want to do is get a glass.
Do I want one of these? Do I want a shaker?
I don't know if you need the shaker for a gin and tonic.
Okay, so it's just that you just pour it in like on the rock.
Well, he's going to tell you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
we got it on
We're going
screen.
to go right into the glass.
Okay.
Okay, so we need glasses with
get your
drinks.
ice, and this is really a ratio cocktail. So measurements you can do, but with tonic, it's going to be difficult to use your jigger.
Okay.
To measure. So what we're going to do is we're going to put about a quarter of the glass full of gin. So we're going to start with the gin and put about a quarter of the glass in.
Quarter of the glass. He says a quarter of the glass.
Oh, not this little bitty thing.
No, he's taking big
You
time.
do it.
Now it's time to watch him
Taking
work.
big time.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Throw this thing away.
And then we're using Fever Tree tonic for this. Our gin is a lighter style gin. It doesn't have those real strong pine notes that some London dry style gins have. So it needs a little bit of a lighter tonic. We find that the Fever Tree tonic is just a fantastic tonic. The citrus in particular, it adds those lemon lime flavors. And then once you have your cocktail made up, just a quick stir. If you want to garnish it, you can throw lime wedge on there, and you've got a super simple, really refreshing summertime cocktail. So cheers.
Okay.
Evan, I have a question. Cheers, everybody. Cheers.
And we're garnishing this
What
with
if I
what?
mixed up my ratios and I transposed them?
What's the garnish?
What's the garnish? Is it mint?
You can garnish this really any way. Traditional
We got
garnish is just a wedge of lime.
Okay.
You squeezed lime in there too, didn't you, Evan Bishop?
Yes.
We did.
Yep. You can take it. You can squeeze the lime in. I usually just chuck the lime right into the cocktail when I'm done with that, and then you're ready to go.
I picked up one of these this week. I've been practicing with it.
Squeeze our gurney in there with the lime, all right? And then we're going to toast each other.
Okay.
Here we go.
I'm ready.
Little play-by-play, Kenny. Nice work. Cheers.
Toast.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, everybody.
So I got to see here.
Cheers are good.
Are you guys in your kitchen, Kenny?
Yes, we are.
Okay,
We're on the island.
Okay, and then I'm looking at Jeff. Jeff, are you painting? What is that drop cloth about in the background?
Ooh, that's pretty damn good.
No, I was captured by the Saudi Arabian government, and they've got me in captive right now. But they let me bring my my drinks with me, so I'm good.
Yeah, the nicest hostage situation I've ever heard of. Oh, that's
You
good.
can have if you can have gins, good.
This is really
So,
good.
Jeremy, you got a juicer this week, is that right?
Yeah. So last week I was just squeezing, and then
Yeah.
I saw one of these on Amazon, little Prime deal, boom boom,
Right on.
and it's great because you just cut the fruit in half, put it in there, and press it, and
Awesome.
it's pretty awesome. Yeah, I recommend
Yeah.
these for making drinks or juice.
We've been using ours for years.
Well,
Okay, now
the great thing about those is the holes are so close together that you can do it into a container as small as a shot glass.
Yes,
Yeah.
That's right.
yes, that's very
Because
true.
later on we need 3/4 of an ounce of lime juice.
Okay.
And I like how
got
you put that at the end because this is like a gauntlet that we have to go through. We
Yeah,
have
I
to
saved
make
the
the
most
easy
difficult
stuff.
one for last.
Okay.
It's like playing video game. All the easy levels are at the beginning. At the end, that's the hard level.
Yeah.
wow. Ooh,
Let's see here.
that's really good. That
Yeah.
is. I love the gin. It's not like harsh.
I have a question. Is the juniper flavoring steam infused, or is it just sort of like an added, sort of a, what do they call it? Infusion?
Yeah, so it's a great question. It's actually a two-part for us. There's a few different ways that you can get those flavors into the gin. So for us, we make up effectively a cheesecloth sack of the botanicals. We've got 7 total botanicals that we have in the gin, including the juniper. So we put all of that in, weighed out, ratioed, and we soak it overnight in effectively the last distillation of what would otherwise be vodka. And
So it's more like an infusion.
it is, but then after
like
that's
a
done,
infusion.
we do
Well,
a
that's why it's
final
so good.
distillation.
Because the
Where-
juniper is not so harsh.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's also a smaller percent of juniper than a lot of other gins have. We want the juniper to show through, but not overwhelm the palate.
Okay.
So then we do a second part where we do a steam pass on the final distillation, where we're putting another bag of botanicals actually into the top of the still. And as the vodka or as the infused gin goes through a final time, it's picking up another light pass of those botanicals.
That's pretty interesting. So you pretty much are making like your neutral spirit, like your vodka, and then you throw it in there, you let it steep, and then you re-still it, and the fumes from that come out, and that's how you get the gin in the bottle.
Right, and by doing that, any of the oils, any of the coloration that we would pull off by doing that long maceration overnight, they clarify in the still, but we're able to pick up the flavors again through the final distillation and the vapor pass.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, right? You guys like the drink, obviously.
It is so good. Mine's almost gone.
Yeah.
And I want to point out that
Get it, Diane. Get it.
and you get an orange. I don't know if they have these for grapefruits, but
Yeah, she's got one for each side.
Coming up a little bit later on, one of the guys from Bear Market Right, Nick's going to be jumping on with us. Him and his son are big fans, Kenny. I don't know if you've heard of Bear Market Right or seen any of their shows.
Oh, sure.
The local
Absolutely.
band, Working Man's Walk. They do a similar song. Rock and roll and work, they seem to go hand in hand.
Excellent.
yeah.
We're just all doing live streaming now, just trying to keep in everybody's face and keep our chops up.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. Last time we talked with you, Kenny, we had a really good conversation about how important it is for musicians nowadays to make money to tour. And then 6 months later, touring is not allowed. How is it? I mean, how are people able to sustain right now?
Well, I mean, fortunately, we've been in this business a long time, and we have some some backup money we put aside that is making it so we're not hurting. But we have to think about this. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen in the winter. I don't know what's going to happen next year. I know Steve Miller right now, he's not talking about doing anything next year until he's completely confident that it's going to be okay. So at this point, even 2021 is kind of in question.
My mother taught me to have 2 years of money in the bank, so we're okay.
Good.
But we're trying to. You have to think ahead of that. I mean, people are getting older and everything, so it's reinvention, and we're getting tech savvy now. So thank you for having us on to experience.
Yeah. So where are you guys at with the...
But
Go ahead, Jeff.
I've noticed that. I know you guys got something going on tomorrow with the Friends.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, we've been doing it for about almost 2 months now. We started with Paul Irving's Big Slow festival that he did, and what happened is that our bass player and our percussionist both came down with symptoms, so we ended up doing it as a duo. And as time went on, we were able to add the guys back in, and we're doing a 4-piece version of our band, The Friends, and we do it in the studio with high quality audio, a stereo with with reverb and the whole bit. Close miking. So when you listen to our show, I mean, it sounds like a real broadcast in the studio, which is nice. Learning all the tech to get that done was quite challenging. And even this last Sunday, I had a thing, because Diane and I did a church service where we were on the internal microphone that was on that camera, and we didn't even know it, and it sounded really bad, so we had to do the service over again. But the Lord didn't mind.
we had a good time.
But yeah, we're learning the tech, and so we're going to be doing some original tunes. We're going to do some great covers. We're doing some Hendrix. We're doing the Beatles, Steely Dan. We're doing some Hall & Oates and a Mancini tune, a Henry Mancini song. It's like you'll be really surprised. And Albert King. We're doing Sons of Chaplin. We're just doing all kinds of stuff that we like personally as boomers. And we take donations for a charity called Sweet Relief, which was actually founded by a performer, a female vocalist, actually, several years ago. And it's a really great homespun kind of a charity that any musicians that are out of work that need like a quickie for medicine or a day in the hospital, they can go there and they can apply quickly and get money immediately from Sweet Relief. So we give 25% to them of our pay, and it helps musicians all over the globe. So not only am I employing my band, but I'm giving money to a lot of other bands too.
Yeah, now Suzanne's going to throw up the link that you can watch this at on the bottom of the screen. Kenny Lee Lewis hanging out with us. Friends is the name of the group. Talk about some of the guys that you're playing with. I recognized a couple of those names.
Yes, Bobby Santa Cruz is well known in the area here. He's been playing for a long time. He has his own band with his daughter Rachel Santa Cruz, and he's our bass player and vocalist along with me. And then a guitar player that plays with both him and also his daughter is named Marty Townsend, and they all grew up in Bakersfield together, and so they're local. And but he's fantastic. And the drummer is a guy named Wyatt Lund, who has a band called Truth About Seafood in town. Yeah. They've been around for a long time.
We know those guys pretty well.
Yeah. So it's a great rhythm section, and it's taken a while for me to find the family that I needed to take the time to play my original material and get behind it and stuff, without, grumbling. They seem to enjoy it. And then, of course, we have these unique covers we do, too. So it's a really great band. Of course, we've been playing around with the Ambinos and the Siren. And, we've been trying to keep a presence, when we were all playing in live venues. Mm-hmm. But now we just want to offer our art up again online, and it's free. And then we just take donations. So we're busking from this digital sidewalk, if you will.
And you have to give during this time. People need their spirits to be uplifted. Spirits?
Amen.
Oh, yeah.
Here's to that.
Let's uplift some spirits right now, if you know what I mean. Right, Diana? Right there. Yeah.
We're drinking a little gin and tonic. It's refined gin. It's right here. You can pick this up at the distillery in Paso Robles. You can go to refineddistillery.com. This is the cocktail basket. You can be in the cocktail club, and you get this whole thing sent to you. This one's got cucumber vodka in it. Their limoncello, which if you haven't tried is outstanding. The vodka that we had last week, and then a bunch of syrups and other things to make these different cocktails. We're going to get to our next cocktail coming up here in just a few minutes. But I'm real curious, Kenny, how are you guys doing with, the staying at home and everything that's going on in the world right now? And, this morning, Jeff and I were talking about the fact that there's rumors that there is a meteor coming towards the Earth. And of course there is. It just seems like, what's next?
I thought we already had Jerry Lee Lewis. Jerry Lee Lewis was the meteor that was coming towards the Earth.
Yeah, right.
But
No,
he
there was. There's
passed through the universe and passed through the solar system. We didn't get hurt too bad.
There was a
almost bought that.
no, there really is.
Goodness
But
gracious, great balls of fire!
it's gonna come by the Earth on Saturday. It's not gonna hit us, but it's the size of like the Empire State Building. It would be catastrophic but that was in the news a little bit this week. But how are you guys doing with everything? How do you stay positive?
Well, we stay positive because we are in love. We've been together for 44 years now this year, and she's a great keyboard player and artist and musician. So she absolutely forgives me for all my musician faults. So I'm covered there because she comes from a family of musicians. So she
Our
knows,
rehearsals are hell.
she knows how debilitated and crazy musicians.
You'll play something and I'll go, no, that's not the chord. I mean, you would think we were in garage band like 13-year-olds. It keeps you young.
So to be pent up in a house with this lovely lady is not such a bad thing.
Ooh, I like that.
But it is tough not being able to go out and socialize and then have an audience of at least 50, 60 people or something. We haven't been able to do that in a while. But we've been going online and we're getting 50, 60 to 100 people when we do our streams, and that's been very nice. At least they've been making donations and we've been taking care of the guys and giving some money to the charity.
Then we did a church service. We just did our own versions of hymns and kind of made them a little funky and a little jazzy and a little crazy. And
that's totally free. We're just doing that as a reasonable service for the church.
They needed something, so we just kind of filled it in. And I thought there'd be about 40 or 50 people. Next thing he's telling me, there's 2,007.
Yeah, on the Easter performance we did, we got 2,500 views.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
And it was like, what's going on? I mean, are we supposed to be ministers?
Yeah.
No.
Well, we might have 25 views at the end of this today. 25, maybe. We'll see. I wanted to bring in Darlene. Darlene told her husband, Darlene's a big fan of yours, wanted to come in and have some drinks. She loves the refined stuff. Okay. Darlene, welcome. And what's your husband's name?
It's Mark Taylor.
Oh, hi, Mark. It's Mark Taylor. Oh, we know these two.
Mark Taylor.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi there.
Everybody.
How's it going?
Hey, let's have them.
Huh?
You guys, I said, do you guys doing okay? I mean, it's nice to meet you.
Yes,
yeah, nice meeting you.
We are doing awesome. Yep, we are kind of have a new routine now with all of this. I'm finally sort of used to the new routine, and we do our own little friends happy hours in the front yards or backyards of our friends. We've rotated around. We call it Thirsty Thursday. Usually we do them, and I kind of like it. I think we might keep it up. Yeah. So it's been an interesting transition.
Well, you can have a theme every week. Like the first time we did it, we all wore fascinators. So everybody got their hats. Then the guys went and got their cowboy hats. Then Kenny got his 70s hat.
Or an apple cap.
Where's that at? I want to see the 70s hat.
Well,
I'll be back.
It's an.
Thank you, Diane. Thank you.
It was just an apple cap, like like when you used to watch the Cosby Kids, they had those big, giant, floppy apple caps that came way down.
That's great.
It's one of those.
Yes. And we know and love Bobby and Rachel Santa Cruz, good friends, and they're amazing. So yes, we go in as much as we can.
Yeah, I wanted to rub elbows
Tomorrow
with
night.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night. What is it? 7:00 on Twitch, Kenny?
Yeah, 7:00. We have an ad. Did you put the link on the roll bar? Anyway, we're going to be on Twitch, Facebook Live, and YouTube all at the same time. 7:00, Pacific Daylight Time.
We'll be there. Yeah.
We have a countdown that starts at 6:50 if you just want to tune in, and we have some music playing that's our music. But 7:00 we're going on. We'll do like an hour, and you guys can do a house party and dance and have a good time. Right. Oh, here's the fascinator. This is Diane wearing the fascinator.
Well, all the girls got their fascinators, and then.
Well, this is actually hers. This isn't mine, but this is the idea. It's like one of these guys.
That's great. A friend of mine actually makes and designs fascinators and hats for the Kentucky Derby, and she was at our happy hour last night, and she had her hat on as well. So that's great. I'll get her involved.
Jeff,
Well,
that
you know-
reminds me of the cartoon Fat Albert. That one kid wore a fascinator hat like
Exactly.
that. I didn't know
That's it.
that's what it was
That's
called.
not a fascinator. This is a fascinator.
I know, but he's talking about this being like a Fat Albert hat.
Or sorry, not the fascinator. I had the hats wrong. You know what? The drinks are kicking in.
All right. You know what I think? I think we
That's
need
only
another
one
drink.
bottle.
That's what we need.
Okay, we're going to go to
We're here
drink.
with refined, handcrafted spirits. Darlene and Mark, we wanted you guys to make the drink because I know that you guys ordered the spirit basket specifically for this week. So we wanted to bring you guys in, have you make the drink with us. So Evan,
The rest of the time, we got them all.
oh nice, come on, hey, join us every single week. We don't care.
Are we
Evan,
done?
what are we doing next?
I'm just pushing that out of the way for
Are
now.
we
We
done
ready
with
for the second cocktail?
No,
Darlene,
we're
did
just- we're
you
just done with-
make
we're
your
just
gin and tonic already?
Yes, I made it and drank it, and I have to tell you, Evan, up until this time, I don't like gin. I don't like it. It's like licking a pine tree.
Yep.
This is amazing. I am now
Fantastic.
to gin.
I'm,
So
I'm glad to hear that. And we really do hear that a lot in the distillery. The number one thing that people will say as when they're saying I do or I don't like, the number one thing people will say is I don't like gin. And I can't tell you how many people that have come in with a preconceived notion of what gin does taste like. And when we taste it here in the distillery, it's neat. It's just gin. We're not making cocktails. So you're tasting the straight gin, and it doesn't have that licking a pine tree, chewing on an ache.
not at all.
Pine salt.
Yeah, so thank you for that.
Yeah.
Pine salt, right? We hear that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Evan, let's you ready for the next one?
Yep.
We're ready for
Wait
it
a
too.
I got it.
What are you trying to say something, Jeremy? Is your glass empty?
All right, so
Almost.
we are going to measure this one. This is a spicy greyhound. I call it a feisty greyhound. And this is a great example because if you know what a greyhound is, it's basically a cocktail of vodka and grapefruit juice. So what we're doing here is we're showcasing how gin can be a substitute for vodka and make really fantastic cocktails. So it just, where vodka just gives you alcohol, gin gives you complexity. And so we're going to start out with the gin. We're going to get a glass going here.
Okay.
And
Is it still good?
same thing as last time. Because we're not shaking this cocktail.
So just ice, okay.
All right.
So we're going to start just with the ice. And for this one, we're going to do 1.5 ounces of gin. Does everybody have
Yeah.
a jigger or something
Here's our
to measure
jigger.
with?
Okay.
Oh, just a half ounce. Of
Okay, so we're going to do 1.25 ounces, I believe.
1.25?
1.5.
Of the gin?
No,
Of the gin.
You're gonna be messed up.
1.25 ounce. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Right? And then
And a quarter.
we're going to go with Fever Tree Tonic. This is the grapefruit jalapeno tonic.
Oh my God.
Okay, that's coming.
Wait,
And
fever tree or root elixir?
That's this one.
I'm sorry, root elixir. That's right. So
Okay,
this is
okay.
a locally produced soda. It's made in San Luis Obispo.
4 ounces. Wow. Okay.
4 ounces of that. So it's similar in ratio to the gin and tonic. And what you get is you get the flavors of the gin in the back,
Bring your drink over here, Dad.
but then you get right up front, smell the jalapeno. It's going to smell like it's going to be a real spicy cocktail. But then when you taste it up
Oh,
front,
shoot.
you're going to get that grapefruit.
Okay, so this is the greyhound.
A little taste.
And then it's going to finish with that little bit of the jalapeno on the back end, right in the back of the throat there. So it gives it a little bit of spice, another great refreshing
Okay.
cocktail for summer.
Wait.
Are we?
We garnish this
Gin
with
and
the
vodka in this,
grapefruit.
or just gin? Gin and vodka, or
Just the gin.
Oh shoot, I'm making the wrong drink.
Just jumping ahead, Jeremy.
Hey, I'll give you two.
Hey, Jeremy, I'm gonna tell you what I tell my 7-year-old. Do you have your listening ears on?
No, I was reading. All right. So how much gin?
At least you're reading.
So
it.
it's a quarter gin.
All right, Jeff, come on.
1.5 ounces.
How much gin?
1.5 ounces of gin.
4.5 ounces of grapefruit. Okay, we got it.
Oh,
We're
got
good, we're
two.
good,
Okay,
good.
I'll
Hey,
do the
You
left.
ready to hit this?
Perfect.
And then
And then 4 ounces of the root elixir.
We
any
got it.
lime?
The grapefruit jalapeno root
We
elixir.
use the grapefruit.
This is why Jeremy's wife wrote his papers in college.
She only wrote one, and she was pre-law, so she wrote my media law paper. And I did all the
What grade
research.
did
Got
you
an
get
A.
on?
Okay, so are we
Yeah,
doing
there
it
you go.
both?
I got an A.
Here we go.
All right. Is
The
everybody
only
made
A.
up?
Wait. Hold on. I'm behind. So is it just the gin and this? Is that
Catch
it?
up then. Come on, cheers, everyone.
Another super simple summertime cocktail. That's it. Just 2 ingredients.
Okay, thank you.
All right. I can't wait. Okay.
Cheers, everyone. Mm.
Wow. Ooh.
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 Is it
Wow,
really
Good,
spicy?
huh?
Like how spicy?
You know what I love about it is the
Not
texture.
spicy at all.
It's got that little bit of, but
Yeah.
nice.
Back end,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, a little bit of back end spice. But if you smell it, you smell the jalapeno in there.
Oh, I can
And
smell, yeah. You can smell the rind.
much spicier than it is. It's
It'll take
really
you
well
out.
balanced. The root elixirs are just a really well balanced soda. They were designed specifically to be used as mixers.
It's
So,
a spicy thing. It's a
They're real powerful on their own, but when you mix them with spirits,
Yeah.
they come into great balance.
You know what I'm going to call this thing? It's spicy and tickles your nose like Carol Baskin when she's feeding you to a lion.
Oh my God.
Ah.
Damn, Carol Baskin.
Oh my
Carol
God.
Baskin, right there. Carol Baskin.
All right,
the
cheers to
grapefruit
Carol
sauce?
Baskin then.
Hey, cheers to Carol. She got Joe Zoo this week, so cheers.
She just got the cars.
It's really dangerous because you can drink this really fast.
Really
Yeah.
good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is even better than the
It's-
first one.
And what happens is because it's hot, it's got a little spice. You want to drink more of the
Another
cold
one.
liquid
Yeah.
to cool off the hot, and so you end up getting
Yeah.
this incredible cycle going where you're just slurping it down really fast because you're trying to put out the fire with cold drink.
It's one of the types of
Would it be fair
cocktails
to-
that I describe as a stand-up cocktail. And that's
Yeah.
because you don't want to be sitting down while you're drinking it because you will just pound it down and then you'll try and get up thinking that there's no alcohol.
Wow.
And so, yeah.
You
Sneaky
have some good liability insurance.
How's the
Really?
Which is why if you're watching at home, you'll want to watch till the end of this broadcast because I got to get up from what is a kid's chair.
And Jeff is like 60 feet
And
tall.
I gotta navigate Cat 5 table across the lumber mill that is my garage. So stick around for the end of the broadcast.
so you got kids?
Oh yeah, so many kids. I'm like Mitt Romney over here, Diane.
He's like
Ours have blown the coop. So
Yeah.
flown the coop. Or what do you
blown
call
the
it?
coop.
Blow in the coop.
They'll
Blown
be
the coop. Or blown.
Yeah, I got
depending on
started
how they
late,
left.
if you know what I mean. Cheers to that, though, huh, Diane? Right? Cheers to kids,
Mark Taylor, cheers to that mustache. That's a hell of a mustache, by the way. I like
That's
that.
a Michigan mustache.
Oh,
Are
Michigan.
you from where?
Who's from Michigan?
Marky.
Ah.
What part?
Right there.
What part of Michigan?
I've only
He's
I've
from
only-
near Jackson, Grass Lake.
Ann Arbor.
Ann Arbor. Yeah, I'm Detroit, but I went to school in Kalamazoo. So
Oh yeah.
Hey.
A lot of
Western Michigan.
yeah,
Yes.
Broncos, go. Okay, I'm getting blitzed.
I went to school.
That's only 2. We have 1 more. Pace yourself.
I'm
Okay.
looking forward to Diane's percussion after another cocktail.
All right. Are we doing more music?
Yeah, we're gonna do another one if you guys want to. It's up to you guys. You can do as many as you want, but we'd love to hear another one if you want to.
Well,
Are we doing more of these?
Yeah.
We got one more.
Don't
after
worry,
this.
Diane. We'll get to those. We'll get to those.
Should we have some music and then do another cocktail?
No.
Sure.
I love that idea. Can you guys do
Yeah, that
something? Can
sounds
you do
great.
something? I don't even know if this is possible, Kenny, but can you do something that you and the friends are going to do tomorrow night?
Well, the one that I just played, we're going to do tomorrow night, which was
Okay, well.
We're going to do that.
Just do something you've done.
Trying to think of what else.
You got to listen to the boss.
Well, I'm doing manic
Boss.
depression, but on acoustic guitar, it's not going to be very good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
he gets pretty shreddy on that electric guitar. It's kind of hard to do on the acoustic.
Did you say you were going to play the rehearsal tape during this thing? Is that what you said, or no?
No, I was gonna use it on air, but I had a little issue with
Okay, don't worry about it. Okay, you know, I was thinking about doing another song that's sort of related to, and I hate to always be trying to tie everything in, but I was going to do one of Steve. I was going to play one of Steve's songs that kind of ties in with what happens when you're out of work. Because the first song that I played was about when you want to go back to work, and then I was going to play this song, which is the song that you want to talk about when you're out of work.
Uh-oh.
Because Billy Joe and Bobby Sue, they just didn't know what to do. Because, you know, they sat around the house and watched the tube trying to stay away from the COVID flu.
Oh,
You know what song this is?
What a time to
You can
breathe.
do speech if you want. This is the story about Billy Joe, Bobby Sue. Two young lovers with nothing better to do. Sit around the house, trying to stay away from the flu. Here's what happened when they decided to cut loose. Headed down to old El Paso. It's where they ran into a great big hassle. Billy Joe shot a man while robbing his castle. Billy Joe took the money and run. Yeah, go on, take the money and run. Yeah, go on, take the money and run. Oops. Go on, take the money and run. Ooh, go on, take the money and run. Billy Mack is a detective down in Texas. You know he knows just exactly what the facts is. He ain't gonna let those two escape justice. He makes a living off the people's taxes. Bobby Sue, whoa, don't you get away. Billy Joe shot out his very next day. They got the money, hey, no, they got away. Headed down south and they're running today, singing, go on, take the money and run. Yeah, yeah, go on, take the money and run. Woo, woo, woo. Go on, take the money and run. Woo, Lord. Go on, take the money and run. Come on, dance. Everybody sing. Go on, take the money and run. Yeah, yeah. Go on, take the money and run. Ooh. Go on, take the money and run. Ooh, go on, take the money. Here we go.
Very nice. Kenny Lee Lewis. Friends, tomorrow night, you can check him. What's up, Nick? How you doing, buddy?
Hey, Jeremy.
Hey, Nick.
What's
Nick
up,
from
guys?
Bear Market Right joining us on the program. What's your son's name?
This is Beacon.
Beacon. What's up, Beacon? How you doing, man?
Beacon, I like that.
Beacon. I think I met Beacon before.
You did.
Yep.
Just
I
about-
did.
Yeah.
Hi, Beacon.
At Dina Robles, right?
That's right.
We got pictures
okay.
with you guys.
That's right. He was probably the only 5-year-old at the show that night.
In the green room. Oh my God.
He started school that week, and then we whisked him off to his first real big concert, and it was the Steve Miller Band, and he was just over the moon, right?
That was super fun.
He's having his cocktail. We got him some ginger ale so he can cheers with us.
What's that?
Hold on, I got to get rid of this.
Get that out of there.
So, how are you guys doing, Nick? How's Bear Market Ride doing? I know I've seen you jump on with Matt Cross a little bit. You guys, I saw Kirk doing some stuff, some campy stuff.
I was doing Mondays streaming with my wife. We have a little side project called Jane and Michael Banks, and so we were doing some songs ourselves on Mondays, and we were calling it Motel Mondays. It was going really great. The donations have been amazing, and but with Bear Market Riot, we've been trying to go every other week on a Wednesday and kind of do like a happy hour hump day thing, and it's been great. I mean, I can't say thank you enough for the donations, and the outreach from our community has really been awesome, and it's helped us through big time. I mean, we've also been able to keep good on some of our shows that got canceled. We were supposed to play the fundraiser roundup for Rise in SLO, the domestic abuse and sexual abuse center, and we were able to go live and give 30% of our stream donations back to them, and that helped them meet their April goal. So that was pretty awesome to be able to keep that alive in these strange times of FaceTime and live stream.
Yeah, no kidding. We're all getting used to it.
But that's how we get to hear Kenny Lee, play an awesome Steve Miller tune in your living room.
Yeah, so right.
The way that we can connect with fans has really been awesome, and the feedback we've been getting at how uplifting of the spirits music is, and how my mom and dad have been able to, they live up in Washington, and they've been able to see me play live half a dozen times now in their living room. And once I was able to sit down and tell them how they could broadcast that to their big screen TV instead of watching on their phones or their iPads, now they're real stoked.
Can you hear me right?
How many times have they? Oh, go ahead, Kenny.
I was going to say, I'm sorry, I have to do a sound check. Can you hear me right now?
Yeah, we can. We can hear you loud and clear.
For whatever reason, while you were talking, not only did my iTunes come on and start playing somebody else's song, but then the microphone was muted. I didn't touch anything.
Okay, let him keep talking.
Anyway,
That's
I'm sorry.
That's scary. She's cranky because we're not giving her drinks.
I've had such incredible tech stuff going on these last few weeks. It's like I want to say, Satan, get behind me. It's like crazy. So anyway,
I will own the mute on your mic. I was muting it until
Nick, how many times had your parents seen you play before?
It freaked me out.
No,
I had to run that I wasn't
over.
Hey, Suzanne.
Over a 3-month period, Nick.
No, I'm not talking
over a 3-month period, Nick. How many times did your parents usually see you over a 3-month period play?
0.
A 3-month period?
0 would be the average.
You're talking about.
I think maybe they've caught Bear Market Riot 3 times, 4 times live. 2 of them we played up in the Seattle area, so that was how it was possible. But yeah, they've caught us a couple times on the Central Coast, but only when they visit, and now if they can't travel, we get to travel to everybody. It's almost like we're on tour, just sitting in our living room. We just get together at Kirk's house and stay 6 feet apart. No hugs and no high fives. It's all right. It's kind of
I think the cool thing about this whole thing, there's a lot of cool, great things that have come out because of the way people have been able to get together and support each other. But the streaming factor, and I know that some shows were streamed before, but now that we figured out how we can do this so simple with just our phones or laptops, I would love to see that in the future. I don't know, Kenny, with your band, or Kirk with your band, if that's something maybe you'll do when we start doing live shows again, that we could also put up something that people can watch it that way.
We're working on it. Steve Miller's a little afraid to even go into a studio with the band, because he's worried that he's going to catch COVID from the crew and the band. So we're trying to get him to calm down about that. The record plant in Sausalito just got bought by some friends of mine, and they're going to turn it into a total multimedia streaming venue from inside the record plant, which is pretty amazing.
And
cool.
we're trying to get him to maybe consider coming out and doing a show there. So we're working on it.
It's funny, you know, some people are pretty nonchalant about it or cool with it. Other people are pretty paranoid. I have a friend at work. I just ran up behind him, gave him a hug and a kiss on the cheek. I said,
Why would you do that?
it's just me, buddy. You're going to be fine.
Did they
Yeah,
kill you?
I saw my brother-in-law last week for the first time, and we were like, hey, give me a hug. You know, we just couldn't help it. I was like, don't care. I'm not. You know, I don't have any symptoms right now. I'm feeling okay. I can give you a hug.
Jeff, it sounds like you're making another drink over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got tired of waiting for you guys. I didn't make the next one. I'm gonna double down on the Greyhound. If you know what I mean. I love the Greyhound. The Greyhound's amazing.
It was amazing. Is Beacon still with us?
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that it was
Right here.
Hey,
hi, Beacon. How old are you, Beacon?
5.5.
5.5. And you're hanging out with a bunch of adults in a happy hour.
Yep.
I'm gonna let your parent be the sponsor on this.
He's got it under control.
Good. Beacon,
You know,
Beacon, do you have any questions for me and about the Steve Miller Band?
Yeah, I kind of do have some questions. So, my first question is, why did you choose to be in the Steve Miller Band? And
Why did I choose?
Are in it.
Did you say the word choose?
Yes, he did.
Select, choose?
Yeah.
It's an interesting question. Okay, wait a minute. Diana wants to say something.
Go back to the day, because you basically chose it a long time ago before it actually happened.
She's right. Beacon, I'm going to tell you a short story. When I was 13 years old. Okay, you ready? Here it is,
Yeah.
and everybody can listen.
They're drinking. That's what.
When I was about 13 years old, I had a paper route. And with my paper route that I had my own money.
For sharing. I'm just saying.
And my parents wouldn't allow me to go to rock concerts because they didn't want me to get in trouble. Because at that time in 1968, there was a lot of trouble going on at concerts. So I actually used my own money and I bought a ticket, unbeknownst to my parents, I hope. I'm not trying to be a bad influence, but I'm telling you the truth.
Don't tell them that.
So I went down and I told my parents I was going to do some homework with a friend of mine. And I ended up walking all the way down the railroad tracks to the Sacramento Memorial Auditorium, and I watched the Steve Miller Band doing a show. And that night, when I saw the show, I looked up at Steve, and I thought I got eye contact with him. And I looked at him, and I pointed to him, and I thought I got eye contact. And I said, one of these days, I'm going to work with you. And it came true.
Wow.
That is an awesome story.
What was that like when you, I mean, do you audition for Steve? Talk about that process of joining the band.
Okay, now you want specifics. I got it. So what happened was, I had already had 2 record deals of my own. I was a studio musician in LA. I was making good money. I wasn't thinking about Steve Miller at all. And he was looking for material at some point because he didn't have any material. He was kind of dry. And I was in a band and we were trying to go for a 3rd record deal. He called the drummer, who was a guy named Gary Malaber, who played on all of Steve's hits. And he wanted to know if Gary had any material. And Gary said, yeah, we got 8 demos we just finished here in the garage. Would you like me to send them to you? And he said, yeah. So what happened was, Beacon, I was prepared. I was writing songs and I was staying creative. And when Steve Miller called looking for material, he took all 8 of them and put them on the Abracadabra album, which sold 5 million copies. And not only did he use our songs, but he used our masters. We recorded our masters so well, he transferred them to 24-track, and I had played bass and guitar on every one of those demos. So I was already on the album just by way of transfer. And so when he called me to join the band, he just said, hey, you're already writing on this album, you're already playing on this album, why don't you just come on the road and tour with me? And there was no audition.
Wow. Wow, that's a great story. And that's kind of a cool backing story as well. Kenny Lee Lewis hanging out with us, the 501 Happy Hour. Want to say what's up to Fernando. Cody, thanks for tuning in. We're glad you look forward to this. We do too. We're drinking the cocktails from Refined. Evan Bishop is our mixologist tonight from Refined Distillery. They're at refineddistillery.com. You can get this whole package.
Yeah.
Kenny, quick question. When you heard that Evan Bishop was joining us tonight, did you think it was Elvin Bishop? Because I was like, whoa, Elvin Bishop's going to be there too?
Well, I'm hard of hearing, so I probably would have thought that. But fortunately, that was other things.
We got Darlene Toll and her husband Mark hanging out with us. We got Nick from Bear Market Riot and his son Beacon as well. Suzanne is back in the studio kind of running the controls for us. I think we're ready to talk about the next drink, even though I had to make another one of these because this is that spicy grapefruit jalapeno soda from Root Elixirs, which is a local company. You can buy this stuff. I know I've seen it at California Fresh and some other places in Slow. Oh. This might be great with vodka. I could imagine this would be great with tequila as well, Evan. I know you guys don't make tequila, but it's
we don't make tequila, but it's a really versatile mixer, and it goes with a lot of base spirits. We really love it with gin.
Yeah.
But yeah, it could play with a lot of different things. You know, honestly, we're having a whiskey show coming up. I haven't tried it with whiskey. I'm betting it would do really well with whiskey also.
Well, that would be interesting. And is that next week? No, that's 2 weeks away, I think.
2 weeks away. Yep. Next week we're doing flavored spirits. So we're doing our cucumber vodka, which is going to be in this upcoming cocktail that we're making next, as well as our barrel finished vodka, which is a vodka, but real similar to a whiskey. I'm sure Alex will be able to explain that really well next week when we get online.
Is that called the E? I think I've had that.
That is the E, yeah.
Yeah. It's you would think it's whiskey. I mean, once you barrel age a spirit like that, man, it's really good. Before you actually make the drink, will you just talk about the next drink a little bit?
Of course. Yeah, I'd love to. So, the first two cocktails were super easy cocktails to make, really just talking ratios as far as how much gin versus how much of either the soda or the tonic that you're adding in. And Jeremy, you've mentioned the cocktail club a couple of times tonight. We started the cocktail club because we found that people were coming into the tasting room really enjoying the spirits and going out to order cocktails, but not necessarily knowing how to make a cocktail. Yeah. And so what we wanted to do was create an opportunity where we were adding the spirits, selecting the mixers that went really well with the spirits, as well as any of the citrus, lime, the lemon, and then any botanical, any mint or basil that we're going to add to each cocktail, and providing that with the recipe cards so that people didn't have to be experienced bartenders or mixologists in order to make custom craft cocktails at home. And so that was the genesis really of the cocktail club. So everything that we're pouring today, everything that we're mixing up today has been or is in the cocktail clubs that we're shipping out to our members. And Darlene, you picked up everything that we're doing over the next few weeks. So that's possible as well. You can go on refineddistillery.com and you can order everything and mix along with us. While we're doing these live presentations.
Yeah, I was just thinking, like, Darlene and Mark.
Darlene, yeah.
It's, like, what a way to impress your friends. Like, they come over and all of a sudden they feel like they're at one of the cocktail lounges downtown, because they're like, holy crap, what did you just make me? It's like, I got you, happy hour. And so, it's like you can really kind of show off a little, Mark, besides that mustache, of course, show off your cocktail still. All right, well, I guess we should make this thing. I'm going to finish this off. Kenny, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right.
Here we go.
I got to get my...
Here's the top one.
I got to find out how to get a basket for next
cocktail.
time.
So, Gimlet actually was the first cocktail I ever had as an adult. It's a classic cocktail. It's a sour classic cocktail. So what that means basically is you're taking your base spirit, you're taking a citrus fruit, and you're taking a sweetener. And it's really a ratio. So you'll see here we've got both gin as well as cucumber. vodka mixed in here. But if you add those together, that's 2 ounces of your base spirit. And then we've got equal parts of the lime juice and the simple syrup. You can alter that. We've backed off a little bit on the simple syrup here. But what we're going to start with is 1.5 ounces.
Yeah.
Gin.
We're doing it. 1.5 ounces for refined gin.
Yeah, there you go.
Got it. And then because I've got a 2-ounce jigger here, I'm going to add the other 1/2 ounce of our cucumber vodka. So you're adding both of those. We're going to go into a dry shaker. So no ice in this, just a dry shaker. And that's because I like having everything in there before ice goes in, so that we're not diluting it down too much and really watering down the cocktail. So from there, we're going to add in our citrus. And for the citrus in this, we're doing 3/4 ounce of fresh lime. For a sour cocktail, a single sour cocktail, you can do about 1.5, depending on the limes, how juicy they are. 1.5 limes will equal about what you want in there. You can, of course, squeeze it and measure it, but this is all to taste. So you can mix up the measurements just a little bit. And then we need a syrup. Yeah, so in the cocktail club, when we send out the Yes Honey Simple Syrup, and that's another locally produced product that we include. Lauren here in Paso Robles makes a lot of great mixers, and she uses local honey and makes a honey simple syrup that we include. Got to put that on my bar.
How much of this syrup do we go with, Bob?
I'm sorry?
How much syrup?
It's a 1/2 ounce.
Just a half.
And this again, these are kind of starting points. So when you're mixing this up, if it's not sweet enough or if it's too sweet, just kind of balance that to your palate. That's the great thing about being able to make the cocktail at home, is that you're making it for you. And kind of a bartender rule of thumb is there's 3 ways to make a cocktail. There's the customer's way, there's the right way, and there's your way.
And then is there anything else in this cocktail besides the syrup, the lime, and the vodka and gin?
Yeah, so we're adding just a little bit of mint in here, actually right into the shaker. You can muddle that if you want. You can chop it up. It really depends on whether you want the mint in the glass at the end or if you want to have the whole leaves in there just to flavor the cocktail. We're also going to do a little quick grind of salt. And the salt, yeah, shake it up.
So Evan, of the 3 ways to make the cocktail, between the customer's way and the right way, which way do you usually go with?
Well, that's a great thing. If you're making it at home, you are the customer and you are you. So there's customer's way, your way, and the right way. And when you're making it at home, you're hitting all 3 of those. So the other question that we get as bartenders is how much do you shake a cocktail?
That was a perfect pour.
Yeah. I shake
Look at that. Look at the glasses.
Shaker anymore. I want an ice pour.
Oh man, look at that! You guys have the right glasses and everything.
Yeah, we're professionals. We've been around a while.
Hey, Evan, I have a question for you about how much to shake the cocktail. Because what I've read is basically shake it until your shaker gets like cold.
Yeah.
Here's my mint.
Yeah, and I have heard bartenders and I've heard people say 12 times. That's it. No more, no less. I'm not of that camp. I'm more of shake it until it's too cold to hold, because I want the cocktail to be really icy cold. That's going to water down the cocktail a little bit. It's still going to be really nice and fresh.
Kenny, are you taking notes on this? Too cold
to hold.
Too cold. Sounds like it should be an MC Hammer.
Okay, are we drinking yet? Do we got a cheer?
Are we
No,
drinking?
that's the Ghostbusters song.
Are
It's
we
like
ready?
in control, too hot to handle, too cold to hold, right?
Now, here it is. Are you ready, Suzanne? Too hot to handle, too cold to hold. You call the Ghostbusters in control. Ooh.
Yeah.
I gotta give you a whistle.
What do we think of this
Darlene?
one?
Are we drinking?
This is
Oh my gosh,
We're ready. Cheers.
that's amazing.
Cheers, you guys.
Oh man, that's
Evan
really
Bishop. Evan Bishop, cocktailologist, mixologist at Refined Distillery.
tasty.
That's too good.
That's
Yeah,
tasty.
Now,
as
Greg,
I said, this really is my desert island cocktail.
Oh my God, yes.
Yes.
If I only had one cocktail to make the rest of my life, the gimlet would be it. You can make a classic one with just gin. We love the added complexity of adding a little bit of that cucumber vodka to it.
I totally taste the cucumber.
oh yeah. No, the
It's
cucumber's good. And then, you put the mint in. Now, I've got a little mint in my glass because my shaker wasn't good. But if you get yourself a good strainer and you strain it, then obviously you wouldn't have to have the mint in the glass. But the mint plays a key role as well, doesn't it, Evan?
For sure. And it's another one that you can add a lot of different things and make it your own. So you can do mint as we have here. You can do basil. My wife loves spicy cocktails, so you can muddle a little bit of jalapeno in there and give that little bit of spice to it, all without changing the ratio of the basic cocktail. You're just adding a little bit of flavor to the overall cocktail with whatever you garnish it with.
And a good,
Well, this is
and a
great.
good antioxidant.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, good antioxidant.
Carson, the intern, you're my favorite.
That's speaking like a
you're
boomer.
my favorite intern. So thank you for the compliment. Whatever that is. Fernando wants to know if we want to go fishing. Yes, anytime. I would love to go fishing.
I love
is-
I fish all the time.
Where do you fish at, Kenny?
Well, around here, not much because there's not much around here except for the ocean.
What are you talking about?
There's a little action at Lopez and a little action at Santa Margarita.
Dude, there's a lot of action. My buddy just caught a 24-inch, 7.5-pound largemouth the other day. Just,
Take him.
All right. I'd like to see it because I've been there and I ain't got one. So.
oh, Kenny, you can come with me on my boat. I'll take you right to where they're at. No problem. I go almost
You know
every
what
weekend.
this means? This means happy hour overtime, baby. Yeah, let's do some.
I mean, that's how it goes. You're like, yeah, we're just gonna go to the bar for a happy hour for an hour, and then you're like,
Who's driving? I'll hook up the boat, but somebody's got to drive us out there.
Hey, where's Nick and Meekin at? Get them back in here.
Yeah, what happened to Nick and Beacon? They're gone.
I'm really digging.
Hey, ghost us? What the hell?
I'm really digging the cucumber infusion.
No, it's
Thank you.
pretty nice. It's really nice.
Yeah.
So,
So
I
I know
have a question for you too when you get a chance.
go for it.
The mockingbird, the mockingbird.
oh right, yeah, okay. So Darlene and I have been having like some issues with birds at our house. This is so random, but I have a mockingbird that lives in the tree outside my bedroom window, and it chirps at all hours of the night.
Yeah.
And I was talking about that on the air a week or so ago, and Darlene's like, "Dude, I got crows."
So when you use a high pressure hose on it, it doesn't stop. So that's what we used to
I
do.
like your way of
Put the hose
thinking,
on.
Kenny. Yep,
You know what I used to do?
I like your way of thinking.
I don't know if I should say it,
Birds
but
are sons of bitches.
I've had enough cocktails. I used to put Alka-Seltzer in the garbage cans and leave the lids open. They never came back. They loved it in the beginning, but then they were gone.
Yeah, I never heard of it.
No.
Okay, so since there's what 8 of us on the screen right now,
Yeah.
go around.
Math, dude.
We'll start with Sue, and she's in the number 1 spot. What's the most? What bird are you most fearful of?
Oh, I know where this is going because Jeff has an issue. I've never been really afraid of birds. I feel like crows are creepy. And but now, dude, the mockingbird is the stuff of my nightmares simply because it has been keeping me up at night. So mockingbird.
Right.
And it's not even a bird, it just sucks, dude.
Yeah, what about you, Evan Bishop?
It just won't show.
I love birds. I'm an avid birder. Ironically, that we're having this conversation. But right now, scrub jays are the bane of my existence because they have figured out how to get into my chicken coop and eat the eggs.
Oh.
And so every day when we go to pick eggs to collect them, there's usually 4 or 5 eggs that have just been poked open. You can still see the yolk in there. They're just poking it open and going to the next one. We put some of the vineyard tape up around, and that seems to be helping. But scrub jays, I'm not afraid of them. I'm just not appreciating that they're eating my eggs before I get to.
How can you respect an animal that eats its own? Evan, come on.
Birds, man. They're the worst. Chickens, birds.
Birds.
Mine
Jeremy,
would
which
be,
bird are you afraid of?
well, you know, I don't, is it a goose or the geese that are on the golf course
yeah.
that will chase you
Canadian
down?
Valid
Like you,
point.
right, like you came into their backyard and peed in their roselia bush. I mean, it's ridiculous. I can't stand those things. And if you watch Curb Your Enthusiasm, Larry David killed one with his 9-iron, and I've thought about it.
Oh,
Dude,
yeah.
real quick on geese, like my grandparents had geese in their yard. Like, you know, they had geese when I was growing up, and they were the most vicious little birds like ever. And my grandpa thought it was hilarious to send us out there to feed them, and they would just chase us around, and we were like little kids, like, they're
A
vicious.
goose bit my daughter in the back.
She connected, the goose connected itself to her derriere.
Oh,
Like a clothespin.
And we let go.
That's the ultimate goose.
They are bad.
They're
really
little. The geese are little beasts.
Kenny, what about you?
Well, I would like to say, in respect to the geese, Canadian geese, they do mate for life, just like me and Diane.
Oh, good.
Oh, damn, look at that. Get your aphrodisiac. Evan, what'd you put in those drinks, dog?
Nice.
Well, the bird that kind of,
After happy hour, people aren't starting to make
I
out.
thought that was penguins that mate for life. Penguins, no? Geese too, huh?
Yeah.
but the bird that kind of freaks me out is, of course, the great horned owl, because it is my spirit animal. And I have one that comes and visits me in the backyard all the time. And sometimes it'll just sit there and I'll have a conversation with it. And it'll literally sit there and listen to me. It'll listen to me, and then once in a while, I'll just kind of go,
What are you smoking on, dude?
Yeah, what kind of drugs did you do in the 70s, bro?
totally sober. My daughter was with me. I have a witness. I said, this
Kenny Lee.
great horned owl comes and talks to me once in a while, and he goes right up on that branch. And as soon as I pointed up there, it showed up, and it looked right at her, and she went, God, Dad. I mean, it was really bizarre, and it was just right on cue. And a lot of my friends who have passed onto the other side, I think they come visit me through the owl. It's kind of a spirit owl, so I'm not afraid of it, but it freaks me out sometimes because it doesn't show up at the weirdest time.
I gotta tell you, I'm a little jealous. That's pretty cool. No birds ever sat there and talked to me.
Yeah, and it just sits there, and I'll go like, well, what do you think? And it'll go, and they make a weird kind of a chirping sound when they're talking.
Maybe you can get Evan over there to translate for you, since he's an avid birder who probably knows what they're saying.
Yeah.
All right, Darlene, what about you?
Yeah, wait, hold on. Evan, before you go, Darlene, I hate to Kanye West you here, but I want to know, Evan, what's your interpretation of what's going on with Kenny and his bird?
I think he nailed it. I think it's a spirit animal, and his friends are coming to visit via the bird. I think that's a great interpretation of it.
I think that's pretty awesome.
It's like a familiar.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome.
Well,
Darlene Cole.
So, Diane, what about you with birds?
Oh, Diane. No, I'm sorry, Diane.
Oh, wait, we forgot Diane. Sorry, Darlene. Darlene's been bumped 3 times.
It's all Evan's fault. This is all Evan's fault.
I just make the cocktails. I don't
know. I'm invisible. Okay.
No, Lucy and this guy with Diane are not invisible.
No, it's okay, Diane. Diane, I want to talk about
I remember seeing the birds when it first came out, and those crows pecking out the eyeballs. You know, I know they lie.
Oh, yes.
But that kind of got me going with crows. But
I
like to go out. When we were in Hawaii this last year, we would sit and hear all the birds, and I would just match their pitch and talk to them, and I felt I was in another universe.
I thought you were doing that at the cabin.
Yeah,
she was in Montana doing that.
I did it.
Montana, Hawaii. What's the difference, Kenny?
Same thing.
So we next frame, next gallery frame.
Yeah. All right. All right, darling.
So yes, I saw the birds, and that was terrifying at the time when I saw it because I was little. But they were fake. Okay, at that point, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm not really afraid of birds. The crows right now, it's just they're so loud in the morning, like early in the morning. That's the thing. But we did just rescue a crow, I have to say. A little juvenile that was in our yard and just didn't go away. Didn't seem like he or she didn't want to fly, had a hurt leg. And we took it to Pacific Wildlife Care. And I mean, like, I took a towel over to it to like try and pick it up. And she just like totally went like he was missing his family. And so I did like feel a little like happy that I saved the crow or whatever. But as long as they're like, it's just not like at 4 in the morning or 5 in the morning. I just don't want to hear them. I like the crows. Other than that, I don't think I'm afraid of birds. We have birds here. We have hummingbirds all the time that come and like stare at us. And, you know, we have jays, we got the scrub jays, we've got all kinds of birds going on around here. We have the peregrine falcon, came and landed with us not too long ago. So I'm not afraid of the birds. It's just when I'm trying to sleep and the crows are, going off, that's what I'm talking about. That's just about it. So Suzanne, back to that. I just want to ask if you watched Failure to Launch.
Oh no, I haven't seen that yet, but she was saying
Matthew McConaughey,
Zoe Deschanel on that point. It's gonna kill you.
I love how Mark brings up Matthew McConaughey. What, Matthew McConaughey? Okay, Mark. So what about you? What bird are you afraid of?
I'm with you, man. Back east, I live close to my home back there is close to a lot of golf courses, and geese are definitely the nemesis. Out here is turkeys. I'm a Morro Bay golfer, and there are turkeys everywhere now, and it's just like, they're a pain. So
I had no idea you guys had to deal with so much when you're out golfing.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I know. It shouldn't be that way.
You don't know what it is.
It's tough enough.
You don't know what it's like.
The fight is real.
Just take one out with the Big Bertha and put it in the crock pot.
No. No. Hey, wait. When we were in Hawaii, we saw lots of geese at, it was turkey at the golf course.
Is that the grapefruit talking?
No, this is turkey. This is
Gimlet talking.
You guys, I don't know if anyone remembers the old school days of the Charles Paddock Zoo in Atascadero, but we moved up there when I was 13. They used to let chickens and peacocks just run around the wild in the zoo. Yeah. And my cousin got pecked in the forehead one time by a peacock.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna
they don't mess around. They can do it. No, I got to tell you, this has been a lot of fun, man. And Kenny, thanks a lot for playing some music and coming on. Darlene and Mark, thanks for jumping in with us. And of course, Evan, you did such a great job. And
you're totally Kanyeing Jeff's bird story.
That's
too.
right.
We already know Jeff's story. It's about crows. He got chased into a garage. I'm sorry, I totally caught it. I'm gonna let you finish in just a minute, bro.
Darlene,
first.
It was Darlene. Darlene said crows. We're on the same page. Yeah. In fact, when you were telling your story, Darlene, it was the same exact story. I felt bad for a baby crow, except I went to go save it, and I was like 6 years old, and the parental crows thought they could take me on. And they did, and they chased me up the hill, and I locked myself in my grandparents' garage.
Yeah.
How long, Jeff?
There's
How
a
long were you in the
podcast.
garage?
They didn't want their son to be
For an hour and a half.
He was in the garage for 6 hours. Did you hear that? 6 hours. He was afraid.
For an hour and a half.
Hour and a half. Sorry. That's hard to hear.
I was yelling for my grandparents that they couldn't hear me.
Were you trying to feed the baby crow Cheetos?
The spicy
So
Cheetos.
what happened? It was exactly Kenny. It was exactly like Darlene's. It was exactly like Darlene's story, where you felt bad for the bird. It had a broken leg, and I was like 7, 8 maybe at the time. I rode my bike down to the park.
They keep getting older.
And I was like, maybe I should help this baby bird out. I try to go help it out, and I get dive bombed from 5 trees. Shoom,
Yeah.
shoom,
Because it's a native. That's because it's native and indigenous, and you shouldn't mess with Mother Nature.
Oh, exactly. But as a 7-year-old, do you think I know that? No. So then I should have. Yeah, I had improper training, Kenny.
Do you have PTSD with this?
Oh my God.
Yes. What do you think, Diane? I mean, Jesus.
Yeah.
He was
I
traumatized.
know this story. It is the most traumatic story of my childhood. Of course, I know this.
All right, it's getting wild.
The only thing I can say to you is nevermore.
As we wrap up, I'm making a freestyle drink, Evan Bishop.
Okay.
With the Root Elixirs grapefruit jalapeno soda. I did
There
2
we go.
ounces of gin and a ½ ounce of the cucumber vodka. Let's see what
Really
happens.
good.
If you make that with a little mint left over in your shaker, it's really good. Because I made the exact same thing. Kenny Lee Lewis, check him out tomorrow night.
I'm gonna give Diane
Follow
some
him on
more.
Facebook.
I might get lucky.
Steely Dan classic.
Okay.
Jimi Hendrix classics.
Did you hear what he
The Mitten Taylor.
Yeah.
Shirley Toll. Thank you for joining us, guys.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Thanks for having us on again.
Share the link. News for tomorrow.
Cheers, you guys.
Share the
Yeah.
link.
Cheers.
Share the love.
Nick and Deacon, thank you for joining us. We don't know what you're doing right now. We don't know where you disappeared to.
Darlene,
Evan,
Mark.
excellent job tonight.
Bye-bye.
Evan Bishop, distilled, refinedistillery.com.
Yep.
Refinedistillery.com.
Nailed it. Nailed it.
You're working from
Peace.
home, Jeremy.
Take us out,
We'll
Stu.
be on next week talking about this. Happy weekend.
Happy weekend.
Wait, Kenny's gotta get started
Kenny, play
now.
us out. Kenny, play us out.
Play us out.
I'm gonna give you.
Play us out. Play us out. Play us out.
I'm just gonna give you the end of Green Acres.
Drunk history. This is radio drunk.
I know it.
All right, you guys.
Here we go. I can't do it.
You guys.
Bye, guys.
Oh man, that was so fun. Okay, so we'll be back next week, 5 to 6-ish o'clock on our Facebook Live, on our YouTube Live, 93.3 KZOZ. Big shout out to Kenny Lee Lewis and friends. Thank you for Diane for hanging out with us. And make sure you check out Kenny streaming live with his local band. It's Kenny Lee Lewis and the Friends on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch. We've got it all linked up today over at our Facebook page. You've got it on the comments on this broadcast, so you can get in there and you can watch. You can donate for a great cause with Kenny Lee Lewis and Friends tomorrow night, 7 p.m., streaming on the interwebs, and they're given to the Sweet Relief COVID Fund. Also, thank you so much to Evan Bishop of Refined for schooling us on these cocktails and these spirits. And we are so excited to have Evan back with Alex and Monica Villicana next week. It is a flavored vodkas theme for next week. And so we're going to be mixing up something called the Dill-icious. There might be some pickly things involved there. We've got Cool as a Cucumber. We've got the Easy E. That is all next week. And then looking ahead to the 19th, we're going out with a bang with a whiskey theme. So you can check out the full cocktail playlist right now at KZOZ.com. It's the 501 happy hour hang from Refined Distillery. And we've got you all linked up to order your kits, get involved. And hey, man, hit us up. If you order a kit, let's get you in on it, man. We loved having Darlene and Mark on tonight. And that's it. Have a great weekend, and we will see you next week.